Hey girls, so welcome back to the True Feminine podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hi on YouTube. I am so excited. I know it has been a minute, it's been a while. I know I had a baby, you guys, so welcome to my new world. It's a little different as I adjust in the first year of my baby's life, but I am here. And I am so extremely excited to introduce you to a special guest. And her specialty is elegance, okay? Dressing, your dress code, ladies, okay? So she is going to bring us some really, really good tips on how to shift our mindset around the way that we appear out in the world to men and people around us, and so many other things. And honestly, I will drop her Instagram account below. So you absolutely have to go follow her. And when you do, you'll probably binge her whole Instagram because that's what I do. And I have to go back and re-binge because I'm like, I need to learn this. Like, what? Okay, there's so much to learn here. So if you're the kind of girl who just like lives in athleisure, which if you live in the Western world, that's what I'm aware of. That's what I'm most, in tune with. I know us girlies love athleisure. We love our leggings, we love our sweatpants, we love our workout clothes. I live in that. But my guest today, her name is May, and she is going to let us know that there are other ways that we can dress to feel comfortable, but still look up leveled, look feminine, look elegant, look high value. And so I'm super excited for her to share tips and things with us today. She's even going to spend some time talking about mindset. We're going to get into the mindset around our appearance today. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to May, and her Instagram account is called Elegance Feed. So, May, please, how are you? How are you doing? Could you give the girls listening just a little elevator speech type thing? Let us know about what got you started, like what led you to doing, like what do you do and what led you here to doing that before we jump into, oh, by the way, we are jumping into this is what we're working on today, girls. Five mindset shifts to level up your appearance as a feminine woman. So, before we get into that, we're going to hear a little bit about May herself. So, May, welcome to the True Femme Show, and tell my girls about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for the amazing introduction. I am so happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this podcast since we talked about it first time, and I'm so happy to get introduced to your audience because I love what you do. I believe in what you do, and I definitely think that it goes hand in hand with what I do, which is elegance, and yours is femininity, and they absolutely complement each other.
Absolutely,
Um,
100%, which is like, I'm so glad we found each other. So, um,
yes.
tell us your story. Tell us your story.
Yeah, so okay, to tell you my story, I would have to take you back in time a few years ago. I was still a college student, but I was on a hybrid schedule, so I would go to campus on and off. But I was working a full-time job, which was in marketing, so it was a creative job. We didn't have a dress code at the office. It was a very chill, laid-back environment. We
Mm-hmm.
even had like a company gear that we would wear most of the time. So I was living a very casual life, doing normal things, running errands, meeting friends over coffee, very casual, normal things. And at that time, I always joke and say that I was living in jeans and t-shirts. Like literally every single day, I'd be wearing jeans and t-shirts. That's all I know. That's what everyone else around me was wearing. Plus other things. You mentioned athleisure, hoodies, leggings, joggers, all kinds of stuff. But for me, my uniform was t-shirts and jeans. And during that time, I didn't think that I was doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see an issue with how I dressed because, again, this is how everyone dresses, and I'm no exception. And I used to look at fashion as something that is very niche,
Mhm.
that only a group, like a small group of women are interested in. And I mean fashion as an industry, not just like styling, but fashion as an industry. Like those people who like to go to fashion shows or follow fashion trends. You know, it's a very niche kind of interest. And that felt like something that I wasn't resonating with. I wasn't super interesting in. So it just felt like something that I didn't need to look into because it wasn't really my thing. And it's actually still isn't my thing, like fashion as an industry.
Mhm.
So yeah, I continued, wearing the stuff that I wear, my t-shirts and jeans, and I would reserve, which is something that we're going to get into. I would reserve my dressier pieces, the trendy pieces that I would like find on social media and get. I would save those for special occasions, for events, for
Mhm.
going somewhere fancy. But in my day to day, I was in athleisure, t-shirts and jeans. Um, and then I came across something on YouTube, which was about elegant style. And that intrigued me because it's a different form of fashion. It's something that some people see as outdated, as very classic. It's not, trendy. So it was just so interesting to me. And I started to watch videos about elegant style. And then I took a course on it and I really got into it. And my takeaway from that course was I was doing everything wrong. Like everything that you can possibly think of, from the colors that I was wearing, the styles, how I looked every day. It was just all wrong.
Mm.
And that was really eye-opening to me because, again, I used to think that I was doing everything correctly, no issues with my style.
Mhm.
So that course really changed my perspective on fashion. It's not something that is reserved for influencers and fashionistas and fashion models. No, you can actually bring fashion and style and elegance into your daily life.
Mhm.
And I would say my biggest aha moment, if you want to call it that, was when I realized actually there is another option.
Mhm.
Actually, t-shirts and jeans, yes, they're casual, they're comfortable, but there are other options that are also casual, comfortable, practical that you can wear every day, yet they still look polished. You still feel good in them, and you can, turn them into your go-to items instead of, the regular hoodies, joggers, and things like that.
Yeah.
So this is the core of my teaching on Elegance Feed. This is really the point that I'm always trying to get across to other women because it was so transformational for me and it completely changed how I dress.
And so good. I want to say two things, but funny. I want you to touch on this a little bit too, because you said it completely transformed the way that you dressed. And cool thing when I got to spend time with May and hear her, more of her story, is that talks about how when she changed the way that she was dressing and she decided to have higher quality pieces, higher quality appearance, like caring for herself, that her inward self-value was like naturally rising. So it was also elevating the inside of you as you elevated the outside of you. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, which I
And
just think, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, when we spoke the first time, we really got into it, and I mentioned to you that I'm very involved with this inner work type of community. I love doing inner work. I have done it for so many years. I still do it, and it's truthfully something that I truly enjoy. But it felt like there was a missing puzzle piece. I mean,
Mm,
yes, I'm reading the books, I'm listening to the podcasts, I'm taking courses, I'm reflecting on my inner self, and all of those things are necessary and are great and wonderful.
mhm,
But something felt missing because despite me doing all of this work, it felt like I was on this journey that is non ending.
mhm,
I'm not reaching to the point that I want to reach. I'm not becoming the woman of my dreams that I'm doing all of this work for. And without me realizing, when I started to be more intentional with how I look, with the pieces that I choose, Something really got activated in me that I didn't even know needed to be activated. It's like a switch that got turned on. And I felt like that dream woman that I've been wanting to become all of these years is me. I felt
Mhm.
like I was being her right here, right now.
Mhm.
And that completely shifted my energy, it shifted my confidence.
Mhm.
And that's why I truly believe that how you look and how you dress and how you take care of yourself is not something that is, superficial, or some people see it as a chore. It's another thing that you have to do, which I understand. You definitely need to put in some effort,
Mhm.
but it's not something that is irrelevant. It
Mhm.
truly impacts your self-esteem, your self-respect, how you show up in the world, and it truly amplifies who you are.
Mhm. Wow, I love that. And yes, and I love even on your Instagram, you mentioned that like self-respect, which I think might be one of the things we get into with our mindset shifts, but just like that's what you're doing. And I talk a lot about like how what you are signaling to yourself and to the world around you. Like what are the signals that you're putting out? And when it's just so cool. Like what May writes about a lot is how, when she shifts the way that she dresses and she decides to pick a higher quality piece versus a cheap piece, it's like, and she decides to actually, paint her nails or, I don't know, do little like just making sure she's like taking care of herself, that you don't use this language, but I do. And it's like you're signaling, it's sending that signal to yourself, like, I respect. But you say it raises your self-respect. It raises that. And that is always felt. How you feel about yourself, what you believe to be true about yourself, is what others will also feel about you naturally. So, um, so this is why I'm so happy to have May here, because I have been wanting to talk about our outward appearance and just haven't really known how to address it and address why it's important. And I'll be the first to say I can be very lazy myself, girls. Like I mean, goodness gracious, like I do not wake up every day getting ready the way that I would like to, but I surely do notice a huge difference. The one other thing I just want to mention that you said, which I love, is she said, um, I used to just reserve nicer clothes for a nicer occasion or event. mind Mind blowing for me, because that is me. That's me. And I'm sure that's a lot of girls listening, where it's like, oh, I wear yoga pants all day long. I wear leggings all day long and sweats and this and that. And I don't think to put a sweater on. I don't think to put something nicer on unless it is an event. It's an event. And something I teach girls is I'm like, operate in your feminine all the time, even when guys around you aren't hot and cute, right? Still smile at them, still stay open. Why? Because that is how you become and embody all of that, so that when that cute guy does come along, you aren't performing for him or scrambling to perform or scrambling to uh oh, what do I do? Oh, what do I, you don't freeze. You're in the natural flow of your feminine. So it's exactly what you're saying with the clothing, where it's like, don't just reserve dressing nice and elegant and up leveled for like the one random occasion you're going to that month or, that week. Do it all the time, so that it now becomes just a part of who you are. Your identity becomes, I am an up leveled woman. I am a feminine, elegant, beautiful being. And so I just love that. So, May, I want to dive into what you have prepared for us, which is a lot, and we'll answer some questions. Some of you girls sent in questions um, in a Q&A box a couple days ago. So I would love for you to, so May will answer some of those. Okay. All right. So May, I think we said you're going to give us five. She has five mindset shifts that we need to incorporate into our lives, so that we can feel feminine all the time with our appearance and on the inside and outside. But these are shifts. So she's going to tell us some things we might be doing that we need to change, and we are here for that. So, May, go ahead and tell us what is number one for you.
Actually, what you said is the perfect segue for number one because it is the belief that you only dress up for special occasions. So let's dive deeper into this. And again, I used to believe this. I mean, there is no reason for me to dress up every day. There is no reason for me to wear the fancy schmancy pieces when I'm going to work where everyone else is dressed casually. It just doesn't make sense. But here's the thing, first of all, you're not required to dress up, extremely fancy. This is unrealistic and not necessary, to be honest. But looking elevated is necessary. And the reason why we tend to think that, we don't have to do that every single day because we think that dressing is for other people, that when you dress up is to impress other people, is to leave a certain impression on others, which is true, but that's only one side of the story. The other side, and in my opinion, the most important side, is the impact it has on you, like we were saying. There's even this scientific experiment that they did to see how clothes or certain clothes impact how you perform. So they actually call this, there's a scientific term for the impact of clothes on us. It's called enclothed cognition.
Mm,
And they did this cool experiment where they had two groups of people wear white lab coats. With one group, they told them the white lab coat is a medical coat. So this is basically what doctors would wear. And they discovered that this group performed better in their cognitive abilities. Isn't that mind blowing?
wow.
It's basically because we associate the medical lab coat with intelligence because doctors are smart. And that kind of activated something within this group simply by wearing a simple white lab coat. Now, the other group, they told them the white lab coat is actually a painter's coat, and they did not perform as good with their cognitive abilities. And I have a theory they did not do this, but I have a theory if they tested their creative abilities, I'm
Mhm.
sure it would have been increased because this is what we associate with painters and artists. So this it works the exact same way with everything that we wear.
Mhm.
With every piece, there is this association that we have with our minds. Like you were saying, signaling, it signals something, it activates something within you. That's why when I started to dress more elegantly, I felt this shift because of what I associate with being the woman of my dreams, how she dresses. So when I started to dress this way, I started to feel like her.
Mm,
And this goes the exact same way with, again, with everything that you wear. If you
mm,
think of a time where you were dressing up for a job interview, for example, maybe you were wearing a power suit or a blazer, suit pants, something that is formal and professional, you instantly feel a shift in your confidence. It
mm,
just happens because this is what our brain knows to be
mm,
associated with blazers and these items. So, this is why, to me, it's more important for you to dress well and take care of yourself on a daily basis. Because even when no one else is seeing you, even if you're staying at home, even if there's no one really to impress, there's always one person that is always watching you, and that is yourself.
mm.
So,
That's so good.
this is honestly the reason why getting dressed and putting effort in how you look is crucial because you're always watching yourself, you're always noticing, you're always picking up on these signals. And even if you don't have a special occasion, even if you don't, you're not going to meet someone special,
Mhm.
there is still this shift that you get to enjoy, this version of yourself that you get to live every single day.
Yes, I love that. And again, that's like part of embodying something, right? It's like
Exactly.
if you're embodying, so I teach and talk a lot about embodying your feminine energy and just like tuning into that, tapping into your feminine and essentially like playing with it, right? So, and but I love that elegance is femininity, right? But elegance is like this. I just love that word. I love the word elegance, right? It's like luxurious, right? It's like, okay, so let me embody this luxurious version of myself, but let me always step into it so that it's now the natural state I live in versus like just, okay, I'm just gonna bum it even when I'm working at home and all these things. I also want to say to the ladies listening, one thing I love about May, and she's got lots of great posts on this, is that and I think this might be in our Q&A box, so I might be jumping ahead, but um, some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, but that sounds uncomfortable. May talks about all the ways that you can still dress in comfort, but up leveled. So you'll find that like in all of her content and stuff. So, and she'll probably talk to us about that as well. What's number two? Let's dive into mindset shift number two.
It's exactly what you just said. Again, the perfect segue.
I keep saying, I keep
Yeah,
recapping, but
it's perfect.
I love
Um, the
clothes.
second
Oh, you said
mindset,
clothes must always be. Oh, yeah. People say, like,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's basically what you said, that clothes that are elegant need to be formal, need to be kind of rigid. The kind of items that you get worried if they get stained or something. It's hard to move in. So this is what we kind of associate with elegant style. Things like blazer, tailored trousers, um, like high quality shirts or sweaters and things like that.
Or
And
like
yes,
high
obviously,
heels and dresses. Sometimes we're thinking,
right,
oh, like when I used to think elegant, I'm like, oh, pearls, a dress, high heels. And I'm like, that sounds
right,
uncomfortable all day, every day. But that's not true, right?
exactly. Yeah. High heels is such a good example. People think that, being elegant equals wearing high heels, and that's absolutely not true.
Mhm.
So, what I talk about frequently is something called elevated basics. And these are the items, these are, if you think of them as a happy medium between formal, fancy, dressy items and athleisure. They're right at the middle. They are comfortable, practical. You can easily move in, you can feel good in, they feel breathable. They're just, easy to wear, they're convenient.
Mhm.
Yet they look polished.
Yeah.
They look put together. They look like you put in effort, even though you didn't put
Mhm.
in effort. You're just wearing the items as is. And that's another thing that a lot of people struggle with, including myself, is sometimes we feel like we need to make the outfit look good. Either we do that with styling, we add accessories. Some people like to do that with layering, and there's a lot of content on social media on this, on how to like make your outfit look good. I love watching these videos, but realistically, if I'm going to the grocery store, I'm not doing that. I'm
Mhm.
probably not even gonna wear accessories. I'm not
Mhm.
even gonna wear a belt, to be honest.
Mhm.
If I'm working from home, I'm not wearing a belt.
Mhm.
So these things that we feel like we need to do in order to make our outfit look polished. What I love about elevated basics is you don't need to do that. You can add accessories, you can do some styling if you want to, but even if you don't, even if you just wear them as is, they still look good.
Mhm.
So probably you guys are probably thinking, okay, what are some examples of elevated basics? So basically, what I like to think of them as is alternatives for what you typically go to. So, for
Mhm.
example, if you're like me who used to wear jeans all the time, okay, let's find an alternative to jeans. This could be pull on pants, it could be linen pants, linen shorts. You can even do these kind of thicker sweater pants that are good for winter. That's an option for colder weather. There are so many options that are still, again, casual, comfortable, but they look so much better than regular jeans. If
Mhm.
you're someone who likes to wear, let's say, oversized hoodies or just hoodies in general,
Mhm.
okay, we can swap that with sweaters, knitted sweaters, cable knits, knits that just look so elevated, but they're still cozy, they're still warm, and they still make you feel comfortable. You can
Yeah.
swap them for zip up these half zip jackets.
Mhm.
You can do high necks, you can do cardigans. So again, we're just trying to find alternatives to what you typically go for, to what you typically wear.
Yeah.
And what I love about this is once you start collecting these elevated pieces, you have no need for athleisure anymore. You can just get rid of them. Because why would you hold on to items that make you look frumpy or make you look like you didn't put in effort only because they're comfortable? Now that you have alternatives, you can just rely on that and make that your new baseline.
That's so good. That's so good. Um, I just love that. Yeah. I think, yeah, girls, and you said this, but girls always say like clothes must always be formal to be elegant. And like, it's just like, that's not true. So also, would you say that there are like ways to, well, I won't get too much into this, but she does talk about how, because I know what everybody thinks. It's like, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to spend an arm and a leg on all this type of clothes? You know, am I gonna spend so much money on this stuff? It sounds expensive. And I believe May, um she does have so she has so much, you guys, I can't wait for you to dig into her stuff. But basically, you say that they can wear like certain pieces you might want to splurge on. And then there are also lots of pieces you can get that aren't like going to like break your bank, but still look nice. And May, I believe you have a lot of links to stuff too for ideas that girls could shop, right?
I do. If you go on my page, you'll find plenty of resources. I have my shop, my store, which has categories. I have a category for elevated basics, category for tops, bottoms, literally everything that you think of. And it's good to just browse those recommended pieces, even if you're not going to buy the exact recommendations, but at least it gives you an idea of what to look for.
Yes.
And a lot of the brands that I include are affordable. Some of them are mid-range. I would say I do not really include high-end, so it's either affordable to mid-range. But there's a lot of brands that actually offer elegant, high-quality pieces at affordable prices. And if you're buying something that you'll wear every single day, it's definitely going to be worth it.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, take us into number three. What is the thing girls say? I think number three, you said that you hear girls often saying being yourself means putting no effort into your look. So, um, girls want to be themselves, right? They want to be like, well, I don't want to like change who I am. I still want to be myself. How do I be myself without and still elevate and look good? So, um, you also, I want you to talk about what you said or what you say around that.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite thing to talk about because I used to think this. And especially when it comes to dating, I feel like, after I spoke with you, and I just know from experience that girls either don't want to put in effort because they don't want to come across as too eager or as trying too hard. And I hear this from clients all the time, even, if it's not related to dating, just in general, they don't want to seem that they're trying too hard, whether it's at work or with their friends, within their community. They just want to not get that type of attention, which is totally valid. I totally get that. But girls feel trapped, not trying to come across as trying too hard. So they tend to not put in much effort to just, go as they are without really investing in their look or doing changes, especially for a date or, a place where you're basically leaving a first impression.
Mm,
And I get that. I understand why somebody would fear coming across as a tryhard. But here's the thing, and this is a question for all of you, for all of us to really think about. Why is it that being natural or being authentic or being yourself, why does that equal looking frumpy? Why does that equal not putting effort in how you look? Why does it have to equal that? Who said that? And
Mm.
I'm not saying that you have to show up to a date or you have to go out looking, dressed to the nines and going all out with how you look, because that's not the solution either.
Mhm.
And it's not, and I kind of get the sense that it feels fake or it feels pretentious or it feels like you're performing. And we don't want to get into that. And this is the reason why I said dressing well every day sets the baseline for you. So when it's time to go on a date, you're not doing something special because this is your default. This is your norm.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And
And
I talk about it's not you're not shifting into performing because you're not performing because this is what you do all the time.
exactly, exactly. And this impacts so many parts of your life, not just dating. Like I have clients who, um, let's say I have a client who is an interior designer and she does house visits. So she goes to people's homes, she discusses their decor and things like that. And when she goes there, and a lot of times she would see people wearing their pajamas because they're at home. So they're
Mhm.
not dressed up, they're not, wearing something elevated, let's say. And for her, that felt a bit challenging to go there, wearing a suit or wearing something that is dressy and professional. And it's hard to kind of have that balanced look where you don't feel out of place, but at the same time, you feel good about yourself. Because in her case, she loves elegance, she loves looking good. So having that baseline where you're not trying too hard, you're not faking it, but at the same time, you're still putting in effort. You're still, taking care of yourself is going to save you in so many different situations where, you don't feel like you're not being yourself anymore. So just that happy medium that I mentioned is truly a lifesaver, especially in my
And it's
case.
possible, right? I think we have to say, we have to like, I need to remind girls, it's totally possible to do that. And I think that exactly what you said, where you're like, who made up these rules? And it's like, in our heads, it's like, I know I didn't even open my mind up to thinking there was a happy medium, you know? I was just like, well, I'm either just athleisure. Athleisure is my happy medium, but it's like with that, but it could be better, And
Right.
in light of self-development and us always trying to develop ourselves, make ourselves look better, feel better, be an invitation to people. We want to do that. I want to read a quote from May real quick that you said. She said, I used to say, I'll just be natural. I don't need to try. But here's the truth. Being yourself doesn't mean looking sloppy. I love that you said that. She said, effort isn't fake, it's a form of self-respect. When you put care into your look, it enhances your personality rather than hiding it. And I just love that you wrote that and you said that. And that just resonated with me where, effort isn't fake. Yeah, because that's the big thing. No one wants to be fake. No one wants to look like a tryhard, right? But it's not fake. It's actually a form of self-respect. And I believe that now. I used to not totally believe that. And now I'm like, wait, like it's this relationship that we have with ourselves that I talk a lot about that, do I care for myself for me, just for me, not because I have to go to an event, I have to see a cute guy, or somebody's coming over, but rather you know what? I enjoy sort of adorning myself with femininity and elegance. And I'm learning to embrace and embody that. And so I just think that is just so amazing, May. And I would love for you to jump into number 4, which she says she gets this from girls. And I'm sure a lot of you say this too, that um, people worry that elegant style might age you, and so they fall into trends. I think you were talking a little bit about that, but and I'll kind of read what you wrote, and then I would love for you to elaborate on this. But she said, Meg said, our girl here with us right now, she wrote. I avoided classic pieces thinking they'd make me look older or serious. The truth is, elegance doesn't age you, it empowers you. I love that, May. Well-chosen outfits, thoughtful colors, and flattering proportions highlight your best features and make you look confident, polished, and ageless. So could you talk about that? So you said elegance doesn't age you, rather it empowers you. And well-chosen outfits, thoughtful colors, flattering proportions can have the ability to highlight your best features and make you look confident and polished and ageless. So, talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, granted, certain colors, styles, a combination of both can make you look older. Just this is just how psychology works. Again, like I said, certain pieces we associate them with certain things. So, yes, there are pieces that will kind of give you a more mature look. So,
Mhm.
this is not what I'm referring to here. What I hear people say is elegant style in general, and elegant style is a big umbrella term. There are so many subcategories, substyles within them. So when somebody says something like elegant style in general ages you, that's completely false. There is no basis to this, except one that I could think of is basically how our culture dresses nowadays. If we look at teenagers, if we look at people in their early 20s or mid 20s, and we see them spending most of their times in athleisure or wearing things like crop tops, ripped jeans, a lot of trendy pieces, trendy accessories, yeah, we will associate those items with the youth, with, teenagers. But we're not trying to look like teenagers either. So it's not like you sticking to your athleisure is serving you in that sense or is making you look younger in a positive way. I don't really believe that. I believe, like you mentioned, choosing pieces that flatter you, that reflect your essence, that reflect your personality, and presenting yourself in a refined way is not aging you, is actually empowering you, and it's amplifying who you are and showing you in the best way possible.
Totally. And you said highlighting, certain outfits can highlight, our best features. And I want to kind of actually talk about that for just a second, really quick, because I think sometimes some girls are like, well, I feel like I'm too fat right now, or I'm overweight, or I'm not feeling like I'm fit, or, I have an hourglass figure, or I have whatever. I don't know. Everybody, my figure is this and that. And it's like people can come up with a thousand reasons and excuses to simply avoid dressing good because they don't feel good in it. And I think there's something to be said about I like that you said a well-chosen outfit and the thoughtful colors and things like that can highlight our best features. And so what would you say and actually become ageless and polished? And I think that like what would you say about outfits? Like outfits um like sometimes you shouldn't just go buy like a just any old size off the rack, right? Like you're a believer in even like taking the time to get your stuff tailored. I believe you mentioned that, right?
Yes.
So I just think that's fascinating because you guys, I never honestly ever thought about getting any pieces of my wardrobe tailored ever, unless it was like a wedding dress or like I was in somebody's wedding and it was some fancy dress. And I am learning as I go down this like learning app. I don't know what I was going to say, a rabbit hole, but the rabbit hole of elegance, dressing elegant. Um, and I've realized like, oh my goodness, like, so my mother-in-law, I'll say this, dude, wow, she is like dresses better than anybody I know. And everyone's like, we're always like, your outfits are amazing. And she said all the young kids at her work or, the Gen Z and millennials are like, oh my God, Susie, cute fit, because she just dresses so good. And she watches a lot of like fashion stuff. And she told me that she gets stuff tailored. And I'm like, well, now you're just not telling me this. I've been in your life for 6 years. Like, you could have told me you've been tailoring your clothes. No wonder they fit so good. And she always looks good in them. So what do you think? Do you think it's worth like getting things tailored to
Absolutely.
so
Yeah, I think
because
fit is
it doesn't matter what your body type is. Could you speak to that a little bit?
right. Yeah, fit is such an important aspect of a well curated outfit because you're highlighting your body lines, and it doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter if you've gained a few pounds. It really doesn't matter. What matters is you're wearing something that fits you, that is made and tailored to your body. And obviously, we cannot achieve this look all the time by buying ready to go pieces from stores, and that's totally fine. But I think we should do our best to at least wear pieces that fit us. And what I have been seeing, and it's been trending for quite some time now, is oversized pieces have been very popular. And a lot of people, go to them because they either want to hide a certain part of their body or they feel more comfortable with them. And I definitely get that. But I don't think you are doing yourself a service by wearing something that's oversized because it
Mhm.
takes away that refinement, that polishness that we're going towards. So you mentioned people who maybe are on the plus size or people who, again, want to hide a certain part of their body. What I always recommend is to focus on tailored, well fitted, and structured pieces that give you shape, that
Mhm.
create that definition, that follow your body lines without really highlighting a specific area. So, yes, I think tailoring is definitely a great option.
Yeah. Um, and on that note, something is just what you're saying with the oversized. I always wear or I love jackets because they're big and I feel like they're hiding everything. But that actually makes me look bigger. So what's interesting to me, this is what I'm learning, okay, as I'm going down this hole, um, is the other day I had a friend come over and I was in leggings, you guys. Yes, I was. I was in yoga pants and I had a top on too. Tight crop top, which these are things we're not supposed to be doing according to May. So we need to follow May's instructions. She got
Sorry, I'm not judging you.
there's a lot of instructions for us. Praise the Lord. But anyways, so but what was interesting to me is that I'm typically always wearing something baggy or big or whatever, like some jacket. Like I'm very much covering my body, my figure, right? And I'm 10 months postpartum, you guys. I have not worked out at all. I have no plan. Like, I mean, I and what I have going on is like this serious belly pudge, everybody has a little pudge, but like when you're postpartum, it's like, oh my gosh, this thing's just like not going away on its own. Of course, if I started to actually work out, I probably would. I just don't have time for that these days. But so I have personally been feeling kind of fat. I'm just gonna be real, okay? I'm gonna be honest. It's what we feel sometimes. But I was wearing very form-fitted, this crop top, my pants, and my stomach was showing. And I normally would never do that because I'm like, I don't want to show my stomach because I feel like my stomach looks fat, right? Well, it was one of my friends. She was over and she kind of came over. I was caught off, a day, hey, and she's kind of sitting there. And she goes, Rachel, you look really skinny. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I look skinny. I was like, well, thank you. I actually have literally have been not feeling skinny. I've been feeling fat. So thanks for telling me that. And it clicked with me in that moment, May, where I was like, interesting. I was like, okay, so it is true. It's true that actually you can look thinner or look whatever, look better um when you're wearing more form-fitted things than actually putting a big baggy jacket on. And that is just a big aha moment for myself because I've kind of known this, but I still want to like hide myself. And I'm not saying like I wouldn't be like popping with my crop top out in public, but it was just that reminder that, oh, yeah, because actually my waist below my boobs is not sticking out. But yes, my little pudge area is, and I don't like that. But like what you were saying, certain fits when you actually form it to the curves of your body can actually give you this illusion of looking thinner, looking better. And you guys, that is crazy. So, who would have thought? Because it's almost counterintuitive. I'm thinking, I feel kind of big right now, so I need to wear something bigger. Well, that's not the truth.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so common. A lot of people do this. I see a lot of people do this in public. I see them in my private sessions. And yeah, like you said, it kind of made sense. You know, if you wanted to hide a certain part of your body or you just didn't feel like dressing for your shape in that moment, yeah, it makes sense to wear something that's kind of loose, that's oversized to kind of hide everything.
Yeah.
But actually, it kind of makes you look bigger than you actually are.
Bigger and not femme, right? Like you're not accentuating your beautiful feminine body and your beautiful feminine look. And I think like in terms of like working on becoming more confident. Also, one thing I do also love about May and all of her content is um she really is so great about teaching us how to dress feminine and elegant and luxurious. Um, while also staying modest. Like it's not like, oh, which that's actually important, right? It's like actually to be elegant is the opposite of like the crop top life. It's the opposite of like showing all of your skin. So you guys are just gonna love going down her stuff. But I want to move into number 5 so we can jump into some questions. Um Number 5, I like the quotes that you bring up that girls say. So I want to read that and then I'd love for you to elaborate too. But she said that girls say, they think you must wear designer labels to look expensive. And I know a lot of girls think that. So do I need to just buy like Lululemon all the time? Do I need to buy or whatever? I'm saying I'm still in athleisure, but do I need to buy the Chanel outfit, the Louis Vuitton? Like, do I need to buy just whatever, the expensive thing to look expensive? Well, she says, here's the thing, elegance isn't a brand. This is from May. This is from her writings. It's in the details, the fit and confidence. You said, in fact, I share the exact method. Oh, which we're going to talk about. I'm so excited. She has, we're going to get into later, but she has a method that is in a whole little training. She has a free training that you guys can listen to, and I highly recommend you do it, which I'm going to drop that below. But I want you to talk more about that, the designer thing. Girls feel like okay, if when I think expensive, I'm thinking designer. When I think expensive, I'm thinking when I'm thinking of looking expensive, I think I have to drop top dollar for this. And I have to wear brands and name brands. But you would say, what would you say to that?
I would say that expensive is a feeling, it's not a price. There
Mm,
are a lot of people who are extremely wealthy, who are millionaires, billionaires, and they still sometimes choose pieces that make them look not expensive at all.
mm,
And I actually think that wearing items with big logos or these monograms, that actually cheapens your look. Because
mm,
people who tend to wear those items, especially on Instagram, especially, in the influencer world, that kind of sends a message. It kind of feels pretentious and people don't feel good about that. So I don't recommend any piece that has, bold branding or logos or things like that. So these pieces are obviously expensive, but they're not serving you because you're actually giving the opposite impression of what you're trying to give. So, yeah, definitely don't go for any big branding and things like that.
that's
Um,
so interesting because it's actually tacky, right? Like it's not, it's like the opposite of like elegant. I think what elegance is like the term like they say like quiet luxury, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's why quiet luxury has been very popular recently. It's been trending for quite some time because people want an alternative to that flashiness, to these like bold branding pieces, and they want to see things that are minimal and simple. And I
Mm,
think Simplicity gives you the feeling of expensive. Simplicity, elegance, timeless pieces, timeless cuts, certain colors can make you look expensive. So again, it's a feeling. It's something that you can curate by just being more intentional in your choices. Also, this will involve choosing more or higher quality pieces. And I
Mm,
know for some people, this can feel like, oh my gosh, I have to spend a lot of money. I have to invest in this. And yes, it is an investment. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But like I said, there are more affordable options that you can go for. And there are ways for you to budget. This is actually something that I talk about in my Essence of Elegance program, how to budget in such a way that allows you to actually invest in those higher quality pieces, how to find them, how to vet the quality, because sometimes, and I have students who have done this, you would go to a place that is not luxurious or a shop that is not luxurious. It's not a high end brand. It's not designer. It's a very normal shop that everyone goes there. But sometimes you would spot a high quality piece. Sometimes you would spot maybe a 100% cotton t shirt. And there are techniques and ways for you to vet the quality to get your money's worth. And I think
mm,
that is the most important thing because even if you spend, let's say, $300 on a t-shirt and
mm,
it doesn't have the quality that you're looking for, first of all, that's a bad investment. Second of all, again, you're not doing yourself a service. You are working against yourself. Maybe it has the logo that you're looking for, but if the quality is not there, then you haven't really accomplished anything.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's just so good. Like for me, I'm like, okay, like I need to take these to heart. And there's so much, right? Like what are some, I just off the top, I'm just curious, like what would be like a high quality piece that you would look for in a store? Like would it be, you mentioned 100% cotton. Like, what are materials that you would say, like, if girls are just shopping in a store, just like quick off the cusp, like, what should they look for?
First and foremost, natural fabrics. So things like cotton, linen, silk, cashmere, leather, anything that is natural is always the best. And this goes not just for fabrics, this goes for accessories as well. It
Mhm.
goes for jewelry as well. So everything that is natural, or at least looks natural as possible, is going to look the most expensive.
Mhm.
So that's number one. Number two, I would say also colors play a huge role. Colors that are extremely vibrant, that
Mhm.
almost look like neon colors, will take
Mhm.
away that expensive look, especially if you're shopping from low-end stores. If you're
Mhm.
shopping from mid-range stores, or at least you know the quality is there, yeah, you can get away with it. But if you're shopping from low-end stores, please stay away from extremely saturated colors, vibrant colors. I know they're fun. I know they are bold. You can get creative with them, but they can be difficult to pull off that expensive look with them. So I
Mhm.
would opt for more neutral colors. If you're not someone who likes neutrals, that's totally fine. But at least stay away from these overly saturated neon-like colors.
Okay. So, like, I have a question. If somebody were to, now I'm like hitting you with questions that come to my mind, which I think girls would be thinking about. But if you were to, like, what's like, if a girl's to walk into a mall today, like, what would be two stores you would direct them towards?
That's a good
Like,
question.
that's mid-range or something that's not, or that has like a little bit of mid, a little bit of high.
You know what? My top two stores that really have good quality clothing are actually online only, which is a bummer. I love shopping in person and I think it's the best way to shop. But these two brands, one of them is Quince. So if you live in the US, Quince is only available in the US and it's
Okay.
amazing. They have the natural fabrics that I just mentioned. They have really good pieces, like those classic pieces, timeless, that you would wear for years and years to come. And their prices are very affordable. So that's definitely one of my favorites. And then
Okay.
another one,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. So sorry.
Another one is OGL Move. They also have a lot of these basics, elevated basics, but their fabrics are not natural or as natural as Quince. They're actually semi-synthetics, which is kind of like a lower tier, but it's still better than polyester and synthetic fabrics. So these are
Wow.
really good options.
And polyester and synthetic fabrics, I feel like are rampant, like everywhere, everywhere, you know? So like let me just ask you then a little quick, just like your opinion, okay? Um, what if a girl goes into the mall and she's like, I want to go to Zara, I want to go to Abercrombie, and I want to go to Nordstrom. Which one would you tell her she should stick with the most?
Hmm.
And the reason I'm
I
asking this is because I'm sure you have all those links and like directions from your place, which I'm gonna look at later for sure. But just like girls just go to the mall, you know, like so like if they were just going there, like, you know, what would you think about that?
I personally wouldn't shop based on a brand's name. Especially if you're, looking for something that's affordable, what you need to rely on is not the brand's name, but your own eyes. That's why I said, and I dedicated an entire module on this in my course because this is so important. Sometimes, again, you might go to Zara, who is known for being a fast fashion store, who, they have a lot of polyester pieces, but sometimes you would find a good piece in Zara.
Mhm.
They have good denims. They have sometimes linen. They have a linen collection every now and then.
Mhm.
So again, it depends on you rather than the brand's name.
Hmm. Well, and I like what you're saying too, is like, you know, it's like stick to kind of all these rule. I don't like using the word rules, but baselines. You said baselines, I think. Stick to the baselines of like the natural fabrics, you know, and it's like, okay, because you're right. You could go into Zara and it's like, okay, there's a bunch of polyester, but hey, there is you know, this is a natural fabric here. There's like this one piece in there that's a natural fabric, or you know, your Nordstrom's and it's like, oh, here's a natural fabric. You know, there's one piece here, you know, and so I think that's a good like what you talk about your baselines, which I know you teach inside all your classes and courses and master classes. So, we definitely want to do that. I feel like I always have so many questions for you as well, but I do know a couple questions did come in, and I think we wanted to touch on some of those. And I don't know if you have those up in front of you. If you don't, I have a couple that you had mentioned. For those listening, May and I, we sifted through the questions that you all sent in, because there were a lot of good ones, and we're like, okay, which ones do we want to talk about? So, do you have those? If you don't have them up, I have what you wrote to me. So,
Okay, well, either way, I have my phone right here so I can pull them up.
and the reason I'm
But
doing that
either
is
way,
because
it's fine.
I want you to answer the ones that you feel like resonate with you.
Okay.
So she's gonna look at the Q&A, some of those Q boxes you girls sent in, and she's
There
going.
were some pretty good questions. I love that.
And you guys, May is so great. Just like I can honestly like I'm gonna go look at your links and stuff and like all those brands you mentioned, which I'm sure you have on your profile. And um this is truly for me, and maybe some girls already know this, but like for me, I've always done like fast fashion, like for the most part, with the occasional designer piece or the occasional like thing, but it's like I've always gone to the two extremes. So like just hearing like, oh my gosh, the baseline, like the foundational pieces, like the natural, you know, like keep your eyes focused on natural fabrics, keep your, you know, that kind of stuff. And then the mindset part of it, ladies, I just cannot emphasize enough exactly what she is saying is exactly what we are working on as feminine women to stand out, to elevate, to become the woman who is seen and seen without having to beg or pine for attention. But you're seen because I hate to say this, and it might sound cliche, but because you see yourself, because you learn to have that self value, you raise your inner self value. And this a part of doing that is the way that we feel inside. So why would we not want to evoke good feeling thoughts about ourselves? Why would we not want to sort of elevate our outward appearance as we are also working on that inside appearance? And that's a really cool thing about May's story is like she was like, I'm doing all this mindset work, I'm doing all this self-development, and nothing's really changing. But oh, maybe I should work on changing my outward appearance. And she found that that was sort of like the missing piece to all the self-development she was doing. So we're all doing self-development together, the girls on my page, the girls in my True Femme Academy, and all of that. So it's like, okay, maybe one of my next steps, I always say there's always a next step for us, is the outward appearance, which you're going to love spending time on May's page. Okay, May, do you have a question for us that has sparked some attention for you?
I do, and it's a really good question. So it says, I'm confused about what style feels like me, and then also feminine and something that is authentic. So
Mm,
she's looking for an authentic style that's feminine, that feels like her. And this question came up in multiple ways on the question box. I'm going to
mm,
read another one because they're related. Another person said, how can I be modest, classy, and sexy all at once?
mm,
And this is something that I hear often with my clients or in my comments because people have this idea that elegance is just one flavor, it's just
mm,
one type. The same way that people say elegance ages you, they're thinking of elegance as just one way, one style of dressing. And that's not true. Yes, we all have this kind of common definition, common idea of what elegance looks like. And that's how we're able to, even have a conversation about it because we understand what that means. But within elegance, there are a lot of subcategories,
mm,
sub-styles. Some people call them archetypes, some people call them essences. But whatever you call them, there are different ways for you to express your version of elegance.
yeah.
So I actually have an upcoming masterclass which will be released. Don't quote me on this, but possibly this weekend, and it's called Signature Elegance. And in this masterclass, I discuss 5 different archetypes or essences, ways of looking elegant. And going back to the question, one of them is classic, which is what we think of when we think of elegant style. When we think of those tailored blazers, tailored pants, crisp white shirts, these are the classic pieces that we think of when we think of elegant style. So that's just one type. If you don't like wearing blazers, if you don't like the tailored trousers, if you want to look more feminine, there is, more archetypes for you to choose from, more pieces for you to choose from that doesn't really involve these structured pieces if they don't appeal to you. So don't feel like you are restricted by these pieces simply because maybe you see them online. Maybe this is just a misconception that you think this is elegant style. But there are other essences that could resonate with you better. So
Mm,
classic is the first type. The second type is feminine. And this is where these flowy pieces come in. The A-line skirts, kind of like princess dresses.
mm,
Definitely more skirts, more floral patterns, more intricate details. So we're touching on this feminine essence. This is also elegant. Nobody can say that feminine style is not because it's just a type, a subtype of elegance.
mm,
Then there is the seductive type, which is what we want to maybe um, kind of take from or get inspired by the femme fatale look that people often talk about. We can get inspired by that and still express it in an elegant way. So we're combining two extremes in a way. There's
mm,
also the natural type who is more concerned about being comfortable,
mm,
who is more laid back, who enjoys maybe minimalism, who enjoys print patterns, maybe even that bohemian flair that some people find interesting. This also is within the natural archetype. And then we
mm,
have the creative, which is within itself a big umbrella term for so many different styles and categories. But basically, the creative is someone who likes to wear color, who doesn't like neutrals, who doesn't like rules, who doesn't like these structured pieces, but rather things that are very expressive or experimental. And the creative is definitely someone who enjoys fashion.
Mm.
So if this appeals to you, there is nothing wrong with that. The question is, how do you express that in an elegant way? And this is exactly what I teach in the masterclass.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys, that's great information. And we have been chatting for quite some time now. I have a big window in front of me and I'm getting kind of oddly blinded by the light. It's like natural light's the best light until it's doing what it's doing right
The
now.
sun made a guest appearance on the podcast
The
today.
sun is making a guest appearance. We love the sun. So, anyways, it's fine. Most of you won't see my face unless you're watching this on YouTube. But so this is just all so good. So I love it. Yes, May has just say I will link her information below. But what is your like? How can girls find you? Like, can you just put some things out, just verbally speak, like your Instagram handle and maybe your if you have a website or something.
Yeah, so my username is Elegance Feed, one word, and it's the same on all platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I'm mostly active on Instagram. I post stories on there, and my content is mostly curated for Instagram. So I recommend you check this one out first. And you can always email me if you have any questions. My email is elegance@elegancefeed.com.
Yes, we love it. And she, like I mentioned, she has a free training, a free masterclass training. She also runs different courses. And honestly, if you're just feeling like this is the next step for you to up level, like the way that you dress and you feel kind of just very stuck in athleisure and you don't really know how to bring yourself out of that. Um, May has just excellent stuff. So you gotta check her out. You gotta go down her rabbit hole. And it will be amazing. And yeah, so again, just to recap, you guys, mindset shifts. We have to shift out of thinking that all those limiting beliefs around dressing elegant and what that means and what that's going to entail for you. Like it might be too hard. I'm not gonna be able to be myself. I feel like I'm gonna be faking it. It feels tiresome doing it all day. Well, check your inner world. Check the inner world that you are living in. Like if I want to live a life where I'm like, you know what? I just have a lot of self-respect for me. Like I love waking up. Like I'm going to become this new version of myself where I wake up in the morning and, I put these simple things. Notice that May used the word simple. The elegance has a lot of simplicity to it, which I love hearing, right? Because it's not actually as complicated as we think. We just have to move out of what has been so comfortable and known to us over and over, which is jeans, a t-shirt, or yoga pants, and a sweater. So, and a hoodie, right? And sneakers and all that. So like there's just ways to do this. And I really hope the girls listening feel encouraged. I hope you feel inspired. I hope that that it sparks something in you to embrace the embodiment of elegance, the embodiment of femininity, and just recognizing, oh my gosh, like I can up level my outward appearance as I'm also working to up level my inner game. So, and as a feminine energy coach here, girls, I am finding more and more and more that exactly what you said, how we dress makes and breaks the moods that we're in. It shifts the mood. Like example, like even with my husband, like if me and my husband are like just so busy, we're doing tasks all day, like we haven't really connected, maybe like we haven't had time to be intimate and whatever, right? Guess what I will do for myself is I'm like, okay, I need to do the things where I turn off my masculine energy, put the phone down, close the laptop, drop the task list. It's the evening and I ask myself, how can I make myself feel sexy or beautiful or feminine so that I can get into a softened place. And do you know one of the go-to things is putting something on that feels seductive and sexy and feminine, like something silky, like, nothing even just like silky shorts, like a silky pajama set, right? And just going, oh, okay, so, and then that's just one thing that I add in getting myself into a feminine mood. So, and it works. It literally takes me into the feminine just by what I am wearing, which is crazy. So imagine if you wake up every day and you're like, I need to go to these baselines. I need to check out what May is saying. And I need to learn some things. And let me shop for natural product and natural fabrics. Let me try to shift out of this old way of being. And one thing I love that May said on this podcast and that she says on her content is throw out all the old stuff. Like as you get new stuff, actually throw the leggings away. Like throw all these pieces.
Burn the boats.
Burn the boats. That's what you say. I just love it. I love it because that is so true. Like talk about that for just for a second, real quick, because I don't want to put words into your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, going back to my story, if I kept my, I don't know, 9 or 10 pairs of jeans that I used to have, because I used to only wear jeans again. Guys, you don't understand. I was living in jeans. So if I had kept those pairs of jeans, if I had kept my t-shirts, most likely I would fall back into my old habits. I would fall back into wearing them because, first of all, that's what I'm used to wearing. Second of all, it's comfortable, practical, convenient. I don't have to think about it, especially on the days where I'm running late or I don't feel like dressing up or going somewhere casual that doesn't need me to put in effort. I'm going to fall back into my old habits and, grab those items and put them on. This is just what's going to happen. And for me, what really helped me level up my baseline again is to get rid of them. So
Mm,
you will never catch me wearing a hoodie, for example, because I don't own a hoodie anymore. I got rid of everything that made me feel, like made me feel either that I'm being frumpy or made me feel like I'm not really taking care of myself.
mm.
So once you have your alternatives, once you have your elevated basics, please do yourself a favor and get rid of all the other stuff. They don't serve you, you don't need them. And this really protects you from falling back into your old habits. So yeah, burn the boats.
Burn the boats. And it's just like dating. It's like the same thing, right? It's like get rid of your ex-boyfriend's number, like block him, like block that guy, right? Because we're moving on. So we don't keep going back to that person. And I think it's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, in order for me to move on, in order for me to take on this new identity, this new like version of myself, I actually have to get rid of the old version of myself so I don't feel tempted to retrieve and go back or to return back to that. And so that is such a nugget, a golden nugget right there. And so that's really actually speaking to me with my wardrobe. I'm like, that is so true. Like if I have my leggings, I still reach for them, even though I bought some
Yeah,
sweaters, it's like, okay,
that's what we do.
that's what we do. That is what we do. So we got to clear out the old, make room for the new, fill it with the new, and don't return to the old thing, right? Or the old version. So okay, this is amazing. So the girls can find you at Elegance Feed. Again, I will drop the links below in the show notes. So be sure to check her out. And she is on YouTube, on TikTok, but she is most active on Instagram. Her Instagram is straight fire. It's so good. You guys are gonna love it. So and yes, May, thank you so much for giving us your time and just kind of walking us through your story. And I hope that May's story has motivated you ladies to also decide to ditch just like this old, jeans and t-shirt version and step into a higher version. And if you're not ready for that, and if you're like, you know what, I don't really care, then that's fine too. Do you? But I wanted to present this because it is really speaking to me currently. and how our appearances affects how we feel. It just does. So let that sink in as you go about your day. If you girls love this podcast, if you enjoyed it, tag me on Instagram, tag May on Instagram, and let us know that you listened to it. Let us know what stood out to you. And it's just fun to kind of connect in that way. And also, be sure to check May out. And I love you girls, and I hope you have an amazing day. May, if there's any last words you want to say before we close out.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast getting to chat with you about this and getting introduced to your audience. I hope you guys found it helpful and it had this light bulb moments that I'm always looking after because this is what really helped me transform my life, these light bulb moments, these mindset shifts. And it truly always starts with your mindset. So I hope you guys found it valuable.
Yes. Oh, we love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And love you girls. We'll talk to you soon.